Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's do a Tour de France 2026 race day roundup, week 1 recap, and week 2 preview of what to expect. 9 stages down, 12 to go, and the riders finally get a day off. Before we look ahead to week 2, let's properly recap how we got here, because this opening week has honestly been one of the wildest in years. A yellow jersey that's changed hands 3 times, a heatwave so brutal it forced organizers to rewrite a stage overnight, and a rider who looks like he's already decided how this whole tour ends. Grab a coffee, this one's a bit longer than usual, there's a lot to get through. Let's break it down. So, how we got here, week 1, stage by stage. It all started with a team time trial through the streets of Barcelona. The first time the tour has opened with one since 1971. Team Visma Leasebike were fastest as a squad, and under the new individual time rule, it was Jonas Vingegaard himself who posted the quickest time and took the very first yellow jersey, with Filippo Ganna 8 seconds back in second. Stage 2 kept the race in Catalonia, finishing back in Barcelona, and this time it was UAE Emirates who announced their intentions. A 1-2 finish through Isaac Del Toro and Tadej Pogačar. You could already sense who the strongest team in the race was going to be. Stage 3 was the day the tour properly crossed into France, over the Pyrenees to Les Anglais, and Pogačar didn't wait around. He attacked clear on the final climb, took the stage win, and pulled on yellow jersey for the first time this year. That lead didn't survive into stage 4 though. On the rolling run into Foix, a strong breakaway was allowed a long leash, and Norwegian rider Trostein Træen came out of it in yellow, even as Mats Pedersen took the stage win in a bunch sprint. Suddenly the GC picture looked completely different. Træen more than 7 minutes clear of Pogačar and Vingegaard. Træen held on through stage 5, the first proper bunch sprint of the race, won by Olof Koy in Pau. And then came stage 6, the stage everyone had circled on the calendar. Pau to Gavarnie-Gerdre, over the Col de Aspen and the legendary Tourmalet. Pogačar launched a long-ranged attack on the Tourmalet itself, rode away from everyone, and took both the stage and the yellow jersey back. Træen unfortunately also crashed on the stage after contact with a teammate's wheel, a rough way to lose the lead. Since then, Pogačar hasn't let go. Stages 7 and 8 were pure printer stages into Bordeaux and Bergerac, and Tim Merlier won both of them back to back. A big statement for a rider who'd gone quiet in the opening days. It was one of the most amazing sprint finishes I've ever seen. And then stage 9 threw the whole race a curveball. That had nothing to do with racing tactics. A red alert hit heatwave warning across the Corrèze region. Forecasts of up to 41 degrees forced organizers to cut 30 kilometers from the route overnight, the night before the stage. Riders raced in brutal heat regardless, pouring water over themselves and stuffing ice down their jerseys just to survive. In the end, it was Mathieu van der Poel who timed a breakaway perfectly, outsprinting 3 others to win in Ussel and head into the rest day with some real momentum. Guys, just to take a break here quickly, I would really appreciate if you could give a like and subscribe to this channel. I do have some exciting content that will follow after the stage. So please do, and let's get back into the race. So, where the race stands. So, here's exactly where things sit heading into the race day. Tadej Pogačar leads the general classification by 2 minutes 42 seconds over Jonas Vingegaard. A solid gap, but not an unsaleable one with 2 more weeks of racing left. His own UAE teammate Isaac Del Toro sits third overall, 3 minutes 27 back, and is also wearing the white jersey as best young rider. Remco Evenepoel rounds out the top 4, just 3 seconds further back than Del Toro. In the other classifications, Mads Pedersen leads the Green Points jersey after consistently picking up sprint points, even on day he wasn't winning outright. And in a slightly unusual twist, Pogačar himself currently leads the Polka Dot Mountains jersey too, with Vingegaard his closest challenger there. A reminder of just how dominant the Tourmalet stage really was. Put simply, UAE Team Emirates have controlled almost every major moment of this tour so far. They've won stages, they won 2 in some classifications, and Pogačar looks like a rider with something to prove after last year. But, and this is worth remembering, a lot can still happen in 12 stages, especially with the mountains still to come in weeks 2 and 3. Okay, storylines to watch going into week 2. A few things I'll be watching closely as racing resumes. First, can Vingegaard actually claw back time on Pogačar, or is this tour already heading the way of last year? 2 minutes 42 isn't huge, but Pogačar has looked generally untouchable on the one summit finish we've seen so far. Second, the heat. This has been one of the hottest opening weeks in the tour history, and it's already changed one stage. If the heatwave continues into week 2, don't be surprised if we see more route adjustments or riders who've been quietly cooking themselves in the background finally cracking. And third, team dynamics. There's been some visible tension inside a couple of GC squads this week over tactics and leadership. Long, hot, 3-week races have a way of bringing that kind of thing to the surface, and week 2 is exactly when it tends to boil over. What's coming in week 2? Week 2 starts about as hard as possible. Stage 10 falls on Bastille Day, France's national holiday, and takes the race into the Massif Central, finishing uphill at Les Lorraines. Historically, this is one of the most fire-up days of the entire tour, with huge crowds and French riders desperate to deliver something special on home soil. Expect fireworks, literally and figuratively. After that, stages 11 and 12, the sprinters 2 more flat days through the Loire Valley and into Burgundy. Though with open, exposed roads, crosswinds could easily turn a routine sprint stage into a GC battle nobody saw coming. Stage 13 is the longest of the entire tour, at just over 200 kilometers, rolling into Belfort and likely to suit the breakaway. Then things get serious again. Stage 14 heads into Vosges Mountains, a genuine dark horse stage that could catch some GC riders off guard, before stage 15 brings a brand new summit finish at Plateau de Solaizon in the Alps, right before the second race day. So basically, enjoy the race day, because from tomorrow, this race stops being polite again. So that's where we stand at the halfway point of week 1. Pogačar firmly in control, but with Vingegaard, Evenepoel and Reinhard Del Toro all lurking, and 2 brutal weeks of racing still ahead. This tour has already given us much more twists than most editions manage in 3 weeks, so I wouldn't bet against any more chaos before we reach Paris. I'll be back with stage 10 preview once the racing resumes tomorrow on Bastille Day. Please follow me along by liking and subscribing to this video. As I mentioned, I will be providing some more content after the Tour de France. Look pro, ride slow, see you for stage 10.